Week 10 is here. Week 9 in the books. Crazy week across the league. Rory, I'm so upset with you. That sucked a lot. Uh, yeah, we'll get into it. We always do. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the views. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate everything. Let's hear from our loser of the week first. Candidly, at this point, it feels like the only people sending in videos are Ford and Gilliam, and then I get to be a loser every once and now again. But Ford, not the winner of the week this time, the loser of the week. What do you guys say?
Hello, gentlemen. It's the dumpster fire coming to you for the fourth time this season. I've been the big loser twice now, been the big winner twice, and it just sucks. Also, it's Wednesday. I'm sending Levin my video at 6:50. He reminded me yesterday. He reminded me again today at 6:20. I left the office at 6:30 and said, I'll make my video. Immediately forgot, started my run, got a couple miles in and realized I fucked up. Came back, and so here we are. I'm... Whatever. My team's bad. Again, we're real up and down. It's a roller coaster for the dumpster fire. I'm not worried about our trajectory this season. Brees Hall might be the worst first-round pick, but Mixon will be fine. Josh Allen still looks good. I just got unlucky. Tracy looked bad. Shout out to Commies defense. Madison didn't score a touchdown, which he normally does, and Coleman got hurt after one catch. My wide receivers are bad, okay? I'll give it to you. But I'm getting Pacheco back, and we're still making a run. High hopes for the dumpster fire. Just wasn't our week. We deserved to lose, and we did. We'll be back, though. I anticipate another couple videos will be sent in by me. I'm assuming at least one will be a loser again, but you never know. Yeah. Levin, once again, I apologize, and I'm going to go finish my run now. Gilliam, you're still a fraud even though you score a fuck ton of points.
Ford, no issue at all. Life comes at you in waves, brother. Appreciate you doubling back so I can get this video out to everyone. Yes, dumpster fire, lowest score of the week, very high and low. But yes, Ford was our loser of the week. Not really much else to say about that, but Gilliam, high score again. Our San Diego resident. Tell us what happened.
Good evening, everybody. Can't believe I'm making another video. I really wanted to pass it off to maybe somebody who hadn't done one yet. Maybe Sam. I don't think he's ever been the top scorer or the lowest. But at this point, at the time that I'm recording, I figured that I might as well just do it myself. Not super exciting. My team, whenever my main stars didn't show out, my flexes showed up. Jackson Smith inward putting up 37. Zay Flowers putting up 30. Jalen Hurts back-to-back 30-point games. The team is in stride. K. Dotton seems to be a great pickup. Number 3 tight end right now. Looking forward to next week against Chase. I'm going to be pissed if I lose that. But that'll determine the number 1 seed. So, sorry, Ben, but Gilluminati keeps rolling. See y'all next week.
Very well said. Yes, your team is currently a wagon. That's true that Sam has never been the highest scorer. He has been the lowest scorer. He was the lowest scorer week 1 and he refused to make a video. So, him and Steer are the only 2 people who have been lowest scorers and refused to make a video. I'm not putting any spin on that. I'm just stating objective facts for the league. But, yes, I'm going to kick it to me now for the recap. There we go. All right. So I'm going to do this a little out of order. I'm waiting on Ford to send me his video. It's about 6:45. I think he's still at the office. Lawyer stuff, am I right, guys? But so I'll go back. I'll add my intro comments and the videos and everything when I do get that. So I'll do standing breakdown right now, matchup and everything. Let me turn off some notifications. But yeah, so I was premature by saying, oh, if all results hold, because of course, Mahomes, who hasn't scored more than 17 points all year, scores 25 points, and I lose by like point 0.5. That's classic. I tinker too. I don't know what it is with this league specifically, where I always start out well and then just am horrible. I tinker too much. I was one Will Reichard missing 2 field goals. Just if I didn't make the trade with Caleb, I get the win. It's always something. It's always something. But standings, we got 2 teams at 72. Gill and Chase, and then we have Caleb, Soul, 5-4 team, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams at 4-5, and then we have me and Rory at 3-6, bringing up the rear. So everyone is still very much alive in this. Do I think me and Rory have a chance to, get a bye? No, I don't think we have a chance to get a bye, but I'm not ruling either of us out for playoff contention at this point with how many teams are below 500. There's only 3 teams that are above 500 right now. So everyone's still very much alive. Our lowest score of the league is Steele, followed by Derek, followed by Ben, followed by Rory, followed by me, followed by Sam, followed by Chase, followed by Ford, then Caleb, and Gil is the true number one points for, number 1 in the standings. He does also have the least amount of points against. Most amount of points against is Derek, then Ford, then Rory, then me. So it is what it is. I'm not going to dwell too much on what I can't control. I'm just an idiot, and I hate DJ Moore, and everyone just makes me sad losing by a score like that. But let's get into the recap of last week, which was I got 2-3. I don't know if you guys care about my season predictions. I care, so I tell you anyway. I'm 22-23 on the year. Steele, I'm 2-7 on games involving Steele. I'm 2-7. My best people are Ford, Caleb, and Sam, who I'm 6-3 on all 3 of them. Everyone else, you fall somewhere in the mix of that. But let's get into the first game, which was Caleb and Sam. High scoring combined matchup for these two. 148-136 was the final. Caleb does get the win, and he gets the win. You would not have won had we not made the JT Cooper Cup trade. JT lost me my matchup. One of the many factors, I'll say, that lost me my matchup. He had 8 points. Cooper Cup had 21. So that's a 13-point difference right there, and Caleb won by 12. So that trade won him a week, which is what you want out of your trades. Kyle Pitts is the story here with only 2 points. Everyone else showed up for him for the most part. I mean, A came with 32, was his leading scorer, and then he had Cooper Cup with 21, and then Jaden Daniels with 19, Gibbs with 14, Kenneth Walker with 13, Scary Terry with 15. Just overall very solid performance, even Josh Downs with 12. DeAndre Hopkins with 28 on his bench, who, of course, like I went back to, I tinker too much. I did draft him, and then I dropped him, obviously before he got traded. Sam does take a loss, started another player that I dropped, which was Chase Brown. 136 points. Honestly, pretty solid most weeks, but I think would have been bottom 5 in scoring this week. We had some pretty high scores this week. So he was bottom 5 in scoring with 136 points, which is pretty crazy. He got way too excited about his trio of CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, and Puka because Puka punched someone who had their helmet on and got ejected. Drake London scored a touchdown and got injured after his the first drive. And then CeeDee had a decent week, but now Dak is done. So we'll see how that affects his value. Obviously, probably not as good, but he should be fine. He's a very good player. Yeah, I mean, Puka with 2 points, that hurts a lot, especially when you have Tony Pollard with 18 on the bench. Chase Brown with 26, that was huge for him. It wasn't enough to get him a win, but obviously you take 26 points off of someone you get off the waivers. Dak disappointed, as usual. I believe Sam did drop him. Yeah, so he's found his way to the waivers. He will be out for a few weeks, so, not MVP season for Dak. Sam was wrong about that. Kareem Hunt obviously punches away in the end zone at the end of the game in overtime. Not enough for Sam to recoup that difference in points. Jaden Reed had a decent week with 16. Eagles defense with 11. Brandon Aubrey with 10. I mean, both these teams, they have pretty decent weeks. Caleb just had a better week. That's what it came down to. So I did get that game right. Caleb 148, Sam 136. Caleb, like I said, sole possession of third place. Sam, one of the many 4 and 5 teams sitting at fifth. Gilliam and Ben. I mean, this was a butt whooping. 181 points. You're not going to lose too many games scoring 181 points. And it was right after he scored 181 points last week. So at the beginning of the year, I talked about how I didn't really think his depth was that good. And boy, was I wrong. Because his two flexes had 29.7 and 37 respectively with Zay Flowers and JSN. Cade Otton off the waivers has been unbelievable. 21 this week. He had 29 last week and 18 the week before. So definitely Baker's favorite target with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin missing some time. Devonta had that awesome touchdown catch. His lowest scorers were Kyron Williams and Jamar Chase out of his skills position. So if that's the case, I think he's going to be fine most weeks. Jalen Hurts with 29. That's going to get it done. And then Bucker and Commies combined for 11 points. 181. I mean, you're not going to lose too many weeks with that. Ben, on the other hand, 130 points, respectable, not enough to get it done. Bottom half in scoring this week. Burrow with 29. He did make the right call on the quarterbacks this week for the first time, I think, all season. Bijan and Chuba and Devontae with 21, 21, 22. Tyler Lockett with 15. Rashad with 15. And then that's the rest of his positions is where the fall off was pretty significant. Zach Ertz only 1.5 points. Xavier Worthy with -1, which is just impressive to do in a PPR format league as a wide receiver. So he had 0 catches for 0 yards and negative yards on a handoff. So -1. He did not get his feet down in the end zone, and then Patrick Mahomes just didn't look his way. And then Texans defense and Will Lutz combined for 8.7. So Gilliam, not sole possession. He is in first place, tied with Chase with the same record, but out of the point differential has it. Ben is one of the many 4 and 5 teams. He's currently in 6th place. Steele and Derek. Steele gets another low-scoring win. Classic Steele. Derek, who I had to yell at to set his lineup beforehand because he originally had DK Metcalf and Amari Cooper in. Actually, he should have left the Lions defense in because if he leaves the Lions defense in, he wins this game. He started the Broncos defense against the Ravens, which I would thought was questionable when I saw him do that, but I didn't say anything because we're all competing. Saquon and Garrett Wilson with 30 each. They had literally half of his points. They had more than half of his points. Kyler with 4. He's been a massive disappointment from a fantasy perspective the second half of this season. But he didn't really leave any points on the bench. Likely was injured, or he is injured. He 0 points. Metcalf was 0. Amari was 0. Injured guys, not going to get you any points. But yeah, just disappointing week for Derek. 115, tough to get a win, scoring 115 points. But Steele does get lucky. He drops to 122. Was bottom 3 in scoring. Comes away with a win. These are both 2 of the 4 and 5 teams. So Derek's in 7th, Steele in 8th, both 4 and 5. Chase and Ford. Yeah, I mean Chase was 5th in scoring, 138, and Ford 105. He's loser of the week. When you are watching this, you will have seen the video. I have not seen his video yet because he's still working. But yeah, I mean Ford's team was just pretty meh across the board. It wasn't like he had like one guy that just really pooped the bed. It's just he had a bunch of guys not really do that well. Njoku was 7, Keon Coleman with 5, he got hurt, Madison with 3, Tyron Tracy was 7. So he had 4 guys score single digits. You're not going to win many weeks like that. Josh Allen with 22. Breece Hall has been a massive disappointment. The second half of this year, he's had, I think, 3 games. Yeah, he's had 3 games scoring less than 10 points. That's not what you want out of your running back who Ford drafted 7th overall. He was his first-round pick. McConkey was fine. Joe Mixon was solid as always. Titans defense was a good play against New England, unfortunately for me. And then Fairbairn ended up with 7 points. So Chase, on the other hand, Derrick Henry, man, he doesn't stop. He just keeps going. He runs through people's faces. He had 26 points. Ramondre with 22. Travis Kelce with 22. Sam Darnold with 19. Did not really leave any points on the bench. Khalil Shakir with 11. Keenan Allen with 7. So just solid performance. 138, like I said, will get it done most weeks. He did get lucky with his matchup this week, but yeah, Ford. These are the 2 teams that I think are the hottest and coldest in the league. Ford, low scorer this week, 105 points, drops to 4 and 5 after he was on a heater for a while. 4th place. Chase 7 and 2, 2nd. Me and Rory, 9th and 10th place respectively now, which is unfortunate for both of us because if either of us lose, we agree the other would rebound for them. So really going to hope that Steele gets last, so we don't have to do that. But obviously, I alluded already, I lose on a heartbreaker. Mahomes, who has not scored more than 17 points the entire season. He's been averaging like 14 points, scores 24 points. Todd Bowles doesn't go for 2. For some unbeknownst reason to me, you score with 30 seconds left against the Chiefs in primetime. You don't give Mahomes the ball back. You go for 2, you go for the win. Cost me a week. Very unfortunate. But Mahomes and Dobbins were his leading scorers, both at 24 each. But candidly, this game was won and lost on the special teams. His special teams combined for 23 and mine combined for 13. That's a 10-point difference. I can't pick the right kicker to save my freaking life. I thought I was in good shape when Cedric Tillman and Brock Bowers both got garbage time touchdowns, but turns out I wasn't. I thought Kirk Cousins over Geno was the right play. Turns out I was wrong. I play Geno over Kirk. I get the win. And DJ Moore, I just don't know what to do with him at this point. 7 points. And Arizona's secondary is not good, so that was really disappointing. It hurts, and this week I got a lot of people on bye, so not fun for me. JT, obviously, huge disappointment with only 8 points. That was a bummer, especially because I gave up Cup for him, so I would have won with it. But he can't go back and change the past. I feel like I'm losing lots of heartbreakers. It's been a rough season. But yeah, we're the 2, 3, and 6 teams left. I'm in 9th and he's in 10th. We go off the points for that tiebreaker. Let's get into this week's matchups, shall we? So our first matchup, this is actually a huge matchup. Is Rory and Steele? No, I'm wrong. It's not Rory and Steele. It's why did I think it was Rory and Steele? It's Ben and Rory. So as we all know, most of us are going to be playing the same people now. We're going to cycle through the schedule. This first matchup, Ben and Rory, is the only matchup where these two teams have not played each other. And actually, I'm going to pause real quick because I don't want to lose this recording as I have previously. So I'm going to pause. I'll see you real quick. Okay, glad I checked there because Ford had sent me the video while I was doing that. Let's get back into Najee Nation versus next year's champion. So even though Rory is 3 and 6, he is currently a 13-point favorite in this game. It looks like he's going with Goff against Houston over whoever Mahomes is playing, over Mahomes against Denver. Candidly, he may get Nico back this week, which would be pretty crazy. I feel like it'd be pretty dangerous having A.J. Brown and Nico. Low-key, Darnell Mooney has been a unbelievable play. He was drafted in the 12th round. He's a wide receiver 12 on the year. He's been very good, very solid the whole season. And I just realized that Rory's a 13-point favorite because T. Higgins is in Ben's lineup and is projected for 0. So that will shrink a little bit, but Rory will still end up being a favorite. Ben does get Kittle and Debo back off of his bye last week. He's currently got Rashad White in. Devontae, Chuba, Bijan, Joe Burrow getting the start. Baker didn't practice today because of a toe injury thing that just popped up. He's still rostering C.J. Stroud. So he's got 3 quarterbacks. Bills defense against Indy, great play. Will Lutz has been very solid, kicker 5 on the year. Every year I say it, I like Ben's team, and he's always in the middle of the pack, or he's not. Who's to say? But yes, Rory, probably the second most dangerous 3 and 6 team in the league, I'd say. Evan Ingram, got Najee back in the lineup. That's a shame. Can't pick you. Rory, I can't pick you because you are starting Najee Harris again. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that if Nico's back, you're going to sub Najee out. But I can't ever write your name down with Najee Harris in the starting lineup. So it's going to be Ben. All right. Sam and Steele. We got Victoria's Secret and Sam's father. Sam playing his dad once again. Week 1, Steele did beat Sam 115-86, which was a pretty low-scoring game. Steele might be getting CMC back this week, who's not in his lineup right now, but he might be getting CMC back this week. Sam's currently a 5-point favorite. That will change if CMC plays and gets plugged into the lineup. A lot of Qs on Sam's team right now. Kareem Hunt is questionable. CeeDee Lamb's questionable. Drake London's questionable. Tony Pollard's questionable. I am assuming all these guys are going to play. The only one that I would be a little concerned about is CeeDee, just because it was like a shoulder thing, and they originally said he was week to week. But who's to say? Chase Brown, obviously a very good pickup off the waivers. He's going with Aaron Rodgers this week. He originally had Tua a couple weeks ago, then he was back to Dak. Now he's using Aaron Rodgers again. Guy can't pick a QB, but he's got 2 kickers on his roster. He's going with Brandon Aubrey this week. Starting the Eagles against his Cowboys, so clearly he doesn't believe in his own team, which is crazy. He gets Puka, hopefully won't punch someone this week. I already hit on the rest of his team. It's solid. It's a very solid team. This is obviously a big matchup. Both these teams are 4-5. They're trying to stay alive in the playoff race. Huge difference between 5-5 and 4-6. Huge difference. Steele. Lamar, Aaron Jones. Right now he's Jordan Mason, and who's that? I'm assuming if CMC plays, he's going to plug him out. I'm using my brain there. I do that sometimes. He's got Tank Dellin, JJ, and Hawk. So he's actually got 3 Vikings players in right now. He's got Aaron Jones, JJ, and Hawkinson, and then Javonte and Rome Odunze, who had a very good week last week. He scored, I want to get the number right. He had 15. He had 5 catches for 104 yards. That's pretty good. Chargers defense is a great play this week against Tennessee, and then the Detroit kicker, he's been very solid all year as well. I'm assuming CMC is going to play this week, and I think Steele probably gets the win here over Sam. I mean, he is Sam's father, so if Sam does win, Steele would probably have to change his name again. Who's to say? Okay, Ford and Caleb, another really good matchup. We got some great matchups this week. Previously, they played in week 2, Ford won 142 to 131. But that was basically a different team ago. Ford's got too many injuries since then. He gets Pickens back from bye, which is huge. Excuse me. Josh Allen, Breece Hall, Joe Mixon, Ladd McConkey. I think that's going to be a starter for Ford every week. Kind of has to at this point. Going with the Giants defense against Carolina, that's a smart play. Tyrone Tracy will likely at least score 1 touchdown against the Panthers this week. The Panthers' defense is not good. And Derek Carr and the Saints still lost to them. Good riddance, Dennis Allen. Keon Coleman is projected for 0 right now, so that goes into Caleb being a 13-point favorite. He has a wrist thing. I don't think he plays this week, so Ford's going to have to make a decision. Does he want to start Jalen Waddle? Does he want to start Wendell Robinson? Does he want to start Rico Dowdle? Tough decision. Those are some very mid names that I just said, and Ford will have to be slot one of them into his second flex. Caleb, team looking good. You never want to see a question mark next to your kicker, though. I will say that. Austin Seabird did not practice today with a hip injury. I am assuming when a kicker pops up on the injury report, they're just going to find the new kicker. So, interested to see what Caleb does. Obviously, the rest of his team looks very good except for his tight end with Kyle Pitts. If Caleb would trade for a tight end, man, that would be pretty good for Caleb. He'd be looking pretty dangerous. He's got Kenneth Walker on bye this week, but he's got D-Hop plugging in that missing spot. Cooper Kupp obviously looked great for him last week. A-Kane's been unbelievable since Tua came back. The offense really seems to go through him for the Dolphins. And then Scary Terry, Jaden Daniels. You love that stack. That's a great stack. I think Caleb probably gets this one handily, I will say. I will say handily. And I don't mean no disrespect for it, but I just don't. I think Caleb gets his revenge from week 2. That's what I think is going to happen. All right. This is the matchup this week. We got both 7-2 teams squaring off. In week 2, Gilliam did beat Chase by a score of 138 to 101. Gilliam is an 8-point favorite this week, and no one has anyone out right now in their starting lineup. So we'll look at Chase's side. We'll look at Gilliam's side, as I do with most matchups. Purdy, Henry, Stevenson, Hill, Shakir, Travis Kelce has had a resurgence. Calvin Ridley, Brian Robinson, Chiefs defense against Denver. That's a good play. Chiefs defense has looked really good. This second half of the season. And then Chris Boswell has been very good. Gilliam, we talked about his team. His team's cooking right now. They're on fire. He's been the highest scorer the last 2 weeks. Cade Otton has been awesome off of the waivers. He's the tight end 3 on the year. Devontae Smith did not practice today with, I think it was a hamstring. I want to make sure that I said that correctly. Hamstring, yeah. Didn't practice today because of a hamstring injury. That's new. That's something to monitor. But, he has JSN on bye this week, so he'll probably have to plug in Jordan Addison. He's going 2 tight end this week, which is interesting. Always interesting to see a double tight end play with Cade Otton and Dalton Kincaid. But, I mean, Gilliam's team has just been on fire. I can't pick against someone who's been the winner of the week the past 2 weeks. I know I pick against Chase most weeks, and I'm 3-6 on Chase weeks, so clearly that strategy has been working out for me, but I'm sticking to it this week. I'm taking Gilliam here. All right. Me and my son. Oh. I want to go back and re-record, but I'm not going to. That voice crack was crazy. Me and my son. I can't believe that was crazy. I am currently a 21-point favorite, but as you may have guessed, Derek has not set his lineup yet. But he does have DK on bye this week. He was injured. He wasn't going to play anyway. Amari, I'm not sure if he's going to play. He was limited today at his walkthrough. I'm hurting from the bye this week for sure. Cedric Tillman, that's going to be a starter for me every week. He's on bye. Brock Bowers, the tight end one on the year, he's out this week. And then Gino, who I never should have strayed away from, he is also on bye. So, and Dubes, but Dubes is so hit or miss. I'm projected for 139, which is actually the second highest in the league, which feels hurtful to me because I'm 3-6. I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to go with Bucky. Maybe I'll go with Jawan Jennings. I'm going to have to tinker with it, fellas. And I tinker too much in this league. But Derek, yes, Kyler has not been good. Hopefully the Jets can continue that. I am worried about Saquon. I am worried about Brian Thomas. I am worried about Garrett Wilson. Malik Neighbors has been very good. The rest of the team, the fall off is dramatic for Derek. So he has some very, very good players and then a little bit of a fall off there. I did beat Derek the first time we played, 148-95 in week 1. He is my son, so I'm never going to pick him over me, even though he has a better record than me right now. So I wrote my name down. I think you guys all saw that coming, as I do most weeks, which really has not worked out well for me because obviously I am 3-6. But other than that, appreciate you watching, Ford and Gilliam. Appreciate you sending over the videos, and I appreciate when the group chat's popping. Let's get some more trades going. I like everyone hitting the waiver wire. I know it was a bad week for waivers, but here we are. Week 10 already. I can't believe we're here. And thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.